Hello. Is there anyone we had yet? Hey, buddy. Nice to see you here. It's my first time doing a live stream here on YouTube. I just ended up finishing one on Instagram that I was doing for my Portuguese audience. But now with YouTube, I just feel a little bit lost in here, like with the system. But I will get used to. How are you, buddy? Did you have like a good beach falando Trecena? That was a heavy one around here. Oh, good luck for you. If you're able to maintain balance towards the end of this Trecena, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good one for you. Because that's the Trecena. That's it's a beautiful Trecena that talks about spiritual strength, talks about the altar and many things. But the cold side of it is that sometimes the Trecena it doesn't feel like moving. You cannot find the flow. Do you experience something like that? Just gonna let the people on Instagram know that I'm going live. Right on. Where are you from, by the way? Yeah, yeah, I know the feeling. But the good thing is that with the calendar, um, you can you can start following the days, and sometimes it becomes a little bit easier, to finish the stuff that we started once we follow the rhythm. Just gonna let the people on Instagram to find the link here. Gone. I'm so confused with Instagram. I used to use a lot Instagram like maybe 6 years ago, and now like I feel so lost. How long have you been following the calendar, Rodrigo? I'm just gonna wait at least like 3 more minutes, because then I can start going with the live, so people can watch back. I'm live on YouTube. Let's find a link here. Almost there. Yeah, I think it's fine. Done. Just wait a few more minutes, a couple of minutes, then I can start following with the Trecena analysis. Oh, there is one more to join the room. As I mentioned to you, it's, it's so different than doing like lives on Instagram. Like, I'm just feeling a little bit lost in here in this YouTube platform. Just waiting a few more minutes to see if everyone's gonna come before starting. But for now, let me know, how are you? How was your last Trecena? It's been easy to follow the Trecena analysis with me. I tell for myself, each Falam Trecena was a heavy one around here. But it's good to see how things gonna build up from this one. Hello, Hacha, to everyone arriving. I'm just waiting a few more minutes to start. So come in, grab your popcorn, maybe. Yeah. Well, I think I will start now. I already told the people on Instagram, so let's see. So, hello everyone. So today we are now live to do this Trecena analysis. So it's gonna be fun. So then, because I can go slower, it can explain a little bit deeper. Like the nawals, the transitions with them. And if you all have questions, you can use the comment section to write me. If it's related about the now that I'm talking about, maybe I can answer right away. So we just finished the Oshlahu Ishbalam Trecena. There was a Trecena that we spoke about the big development, this big fertility. And it was a Trecena that we spoke about the planet Earth. Because remember, recapitulating a little bit, before the Ishvalan Trecena, we had the Canil Trecena, which is the seed. And then we had the Oshlahu Imox, the water Trecena. There was when we spoke about wetting the seed with water, so we can inject force in the seed so something can grow, we can multiply this stuff that we are doing. And then we enter into the Oshlahu Ishvalam that spoke about the planet Earth. The planet Earth that is going to be doing this magic, like gestating everything, like a mother that is gestating. Now we already have wetting the seed. Now in Ishvalan Trecena, we are able to let the earth do its magic, so things can grow, so things can develop even further. And now we are going to be entering into the Oshlahu Kier 13-year Trecena. This is the Trecena that we're going to be talking about strength, the accumulation of strength that can lead to a very intense injection of force. But also we can refer that with the ultimate balance, with the spiritual balance that we are able to achieve in this Trecena. We don't talk only about strength and as a physical strength. We talk about strength as well as the spiritual thing. Sometimes we fall off of our path. We need to build back up. So that's the Trecena that we're going to be talking about. So we need to build yourselves up. We need to find balance again. Sometimes when we fall off of balance, we enter into these dynamics of life. It happens, there's something that we cannot escape from. So this Trecena also speaks about the altar. The altar, because it's the place where you're going to be doing your talkings to the spirits, like you're going to be doing your offerings. Is the place where you can find strength, you can negotiate something with the other world. So that comes with the connection with the deer, like the deer that has the spots on the back, like the white spots represents the sky, and the belly represents the earth. So that's the connection of the sky and earth in the altar. So that's a sacred place. That's where we're going to be doing our offerings, where we offer fire and water, like a candle and a glass of water, to represent this balance between the masculine and the feminine. So this Trecena is going to be talking about this big accumulation of balance, just like not only when we offer to the altar, but also when we talk about finding our spiritual strength. So after the past Trecena, the Oshilahu Ishvalam, that we did the gestation in order to multiplicate the results we have in our personal lives. Now, Tikin, we will start carrying from here. So depending on how things went in the past Trecena for you, if it was the Trecena that you are able, to gestate, the things you are working on, like you're able to develop even further, we're able, to apply more strength to multiplicate the results, was great. So now you can already start this Trecena full of resources that was Ishvalan was talking about. So Tikin is going to be the one responsible for going straight forward. It's going to be what are we going to be doing with everything that we just stated. So now it's going to bring life to them. Like this Trecena of Ker will also represent like the life in the planet Earth. So is the animals, the connection with the deer, because the deer is the main prey of the jaguar in there, keeps the jaguar alive. So that's why they control the species, so they won't run out of sources, and so they can continue the life on. So it represents this spirit of the force, where they're going to be giving life. We need to get the ultimate injection of force that we're going to be accumulating in this Trecena. But for that to happen, we need to be focused. So we have the nawal number 1 that is going to be finding a new beginning, looking for a path. Now, what's going to be the focus? That's what we need to choose in Hun Tikin, one eagle. One eagle follows the metaphor of the eagle, like is flying up high in the sky. When it sees a fish or any other prey, it goes straight forward. We can also apply the vision that's in the sky. They can have like the big vision, like I can see miles away from where it's standing. So we can apply that, but more as a going straight forward. When you find your focus, you need to go straight forward. So, and also in other words, you're going to be investing also the resources, just like when you're injecting, like you're just putting something to make it grow, giving the complementary part in order to that. If in Ishvalam, like you just said, so many ideas, something that we can build in the following months or for the rest of the year. Now you know how to track this focus that you can have. But if we start the Trecena with the Tikin being disturbed, like when you get so much stuff out in your way, so you don't know what single direction to focus, that can influentiate the Trecena start moving. You will have like sometimes accumulate so much strength in one hand, but won't be able to handle the flow that it needs. So we need to follow the balance. Balance is the key word that we're going to be applying in this Trecena. So everything starts by being focused. And then we're going to move to Kib Ajmaq, to complementarity. Now 2 is an hour of the retraction, like taking one step back, as the Trecena represents like the like a snake walking, like it's the way that the Maya see the time, going. It goes forward and then jumps back to take more strength to go forward and follow that rhythm. So now two, because now one is something looking for a path, goes forward. But now maybe we don't have so much strength. We know the focus, but we need to calculate a little bit better. So we give one step back. And when we give one step back, we can calculate better. We know where we are going, so now we can planify. Or if something happened in the past Trecena, is the moment where we can look back to see what went wrong to fix the errors. And that's when Ajmaq, the complementarity, is going to be talking about. Because Ajmaq talks about when we go blind, or sometimes we get too much enthusiastic about some things, and we don't see where we are going, so we make mistakes. So could be too Ajmaq in the day for you to retract. You retract yourself to see what went wrong in the past Trecena, and maybe the mistakes that you did. Maybe it was an argument with someone. You enter into a fight. Something that it's kind of it's going to become heavy on you. Sometimes your mind is still thinking about a situation that happened that led you to be stressed out. So many things can happen. So Kebahmak is the day to retract and let go of these things. If you feel like it's a right opportunity for you to go back and make up with someone that you had a fight, it's great, because the lighter you walk in this Trecena, the easier it becomes for you to stay in balance. So Ahmak is going to represent when we make a mistake and we apologize. It is also often, spoken as the now of forgiveness. But there you go. As Ahmak represents when you do the mistakes, so you can understand when you talk about forgiveness. But it doesn't need to be in a way, but it's more in a way of letting go of the things. Sometimes you don't need actually to forgive. Sometimes you just need to move on and don't let that stuff, in there with you, just like in your head, just like putting pressure in everything that you're doing, like you cannot concentrate. So we need to keep the focus. We started in Huntekin, one ego. So two, complementarity is the day to start, letting go of these things, just to see the mistakes you made and calculate how you're going to walk this Trecena with more balance to build up your spiritual strength. Also, as this spiritual Trecena, we have this connection of Ajmaq as the cycle of the ancestors. The Ajmaq will enter more into the realm of the newborns, like the continuation of our species. So we have the granddad, and then we have the grandson. So the generations is going to be coming up. So it's the continuation. So that's also could be a day for the family as well, when you retract to find balance in your family to walk this Trecena. Because if you were disturbed about something, maybe on Ajmaq, maybe you can retract. Sometimes you just need to spend some time with your family. Sometimes not even talking about anything, just being there to release something before continue on. Then we're going to move to Oshib Naor, 3 thoughts or knowledge. Now that we retract with Kebahmak to do the calculations, to find the complementarity opposites, to move forward, maybe the best people, we can have a deal to walk along this Trecena, to walk more in balance. So now we can move forward to open the path for the planification or for the organization. Now 3 is the moment where you have enough flow, you have at least a little bit of more energy to go forward. But now 3 is the one that is just go forward. It finds a barrier in a way, is gonna diverge. Just like in the waterfalls, the water is going down, but there are the rocks, so the water splits between the holes between the rocks to find a way to pass, to surpass the barrier. So in Naor is going to be talking about the ideas, the planification. It's going to be talking about the thoughts that we have. Talking like that is very similar to the process of the mind, but in Naor we talk specifically about the spirit that governs, that controls everything. He's the one that coordinates everything, all the nawals, that put everything to the organization so they can follow this flow. So now is going to be talking about putting everything into organization. See what is the plan so you can keep your focus on in order for you to walk this Trecena in balance. So you can accumulate more strength. So the more you planify the stuff, the better. What you need to pay attention in here, because the now 3 is the one that diverts. So sometimes you can have one idea here, but in the same, like in the first minute that you don't find like an easy solution for that, you kind of feel inflamed. Sometimes you start overthinking too much, so you want to be on a like divert into another idea. If that doesn't work, you're gonna to another idea. So at the end, you've thought about many different possibilities, but you cannot do everything at once. If they work all together, it's okay if they're all part of the plan. This can be a great day for that, to diverge, to build like a bigger picture so you can follow, can bring more strength. If you're talking about a business, so it's a beautiful Trecena to put everything, to make everything stable. And if we're talking about ourselves, like the things that we need to, so we need to walk like light, so to find balance, like the spiritual balance, so we can handle all the things we do in our daily routines. So we want to avoid here to overthink too much in awe. Is to find the focus that we found that we think is going to be the best strength, the best out of it is going to be out of balance. It's going to work for you to do something in that, for you to not get lost in the Trecena. And otherwise, that is what can make the deer retract, like when the deer doesn't want to move. That comes the analogy with the moose. The moose, the big animal that sometimes it stops, it doesn't want to move. There is no one that can go there and push. So it starts just getting, cheeky with other people, just trying to demand so many tasks, wanting to everybody to do things for him or for her. So that's what we want to avoid in here. We want to keep the flow, being balanced to let the flow go. Then we're going to move to Kahib Tijax for cut. Now for after we open the path is where the water it becomes stagnant. Sometimes it simply stops because just found like a roll where the water can be stuck. We can use the reference of the well, like when you need to wait like the water from the rain to start to build up some more volume. So we're going to be talking about things that can be permanent or things that are just stopped or are stuck in a place. In Tijax, we're going to be talking about the incision. We talk about the healing. Tijax represents the obsidian blade that are used for surgeons for the practice of healing. But in the same way, it was used for the arrowheads or the spearheads as well. So the same material that is used for killing is used for healing. But Tijax, we talk about like how we're going to express that through communication. So are the words that hurt and the words that heal. So talking about for Tijax in this Trecena to achieve a spiritual balance, so or to achieve like to be stable or to accumulate strength, we're going to be talking about the permanent healing. Could be a great day for you to do some self-care, some self-healing, to stop everything. If you are overthinking too much, it's time to cut that. Maybe you need to pause, don't do anything, and cut that. Work first in your balance from inside, because that's going to reflect on the other side. In another way, you can use the metaphor of the mirror, because Tijax is going to be telling the truth, just like using for the going in front of obsidian mirror. It's going to reflect what is right in front of you, but sometimes you don't want to see that. So it's the moment to face the truth, maybe the hurting truth as well. That's the first step for us, to start, accepting, and finding balance again in case we fell off of our path. But if you are just talking about ideas, building a project, Tijax can be the day where you can take all of the ideas you had, in 3 thoughts and start, chopping that up to see like, oh, that doesn't work. So you can use just exactly what you need. So that's what Tijax is going to be talking about. And then we're going to move to Hob Kawuq, 5 sheet lightning. Hob is going to be after the well is full, like the recipient is full, the water is going to overflow. It's going to break the barrier. It's going to destroy that. There is no containment. So it can be catastrophic, as that's why I say that the nawal 5 is the one that can go sideways, because the one that you cannot control if you're not already pointed in the right direction to follow with this flow. It can be amazing days for you, like if you just want to spend an extra energy, like work harder on that. So you can always flow with 5. If you know the direction you want to go, hop days are the best for you to speed up the process. And now Kawuq, we're going to be talking about the big intuition. We're going to be talking about the Aq'ab'al, like the inner spirit of the earth, where we all share to, where we all can access the knowledge in there. It's different from gut feeling but it's deeper. Kawuq is just like when you see that in front of you. You see the idea, but Kawuq shows the entire path. You don't know how to get there yet. You don't know like how you are able to see that, but you just simply know, like you access something deeper, like this consciousness of the earth, like this inner spirit of the earth in which we are all connected. So this can be 5 sheet lightning is going to be like the overflow of deeper insights, the overflow of intuition. But there is a thing. We need to be focused so we can walk this Trecena in balance. So we can find the way for the flow to run correctly. If you are not focused, if the Trecena already started messing up, maybe 5 sheet lightning is going to be one where you can access the stuff that is not going to add you to anything. It's going to only give you more trouble, more headache. So if you are too much worried about a fight that you had, like you couldn't let go, it's still lingering in there, maybe Hob Kawuq is going to be showing you like deeper intuitions about something that you can be right, but in reality, it's not going to add you anything to your life. It's going to be, overflowing gossips or something, like it's going to be a messy inner communication. But if you are focused on stuff, like we know what we are doing, like we are centered in ourselves to follow that, Kawuq can be the day where everything is going to be clearer. You're going to be, everything is going to be illuminated in your head. So you can work on, you can, start taking more insights of everything that you built for you to follow the other steps to become easier. And then we're going to move to Aq'ab'al Junajpu, 6, Conqueror Sun. Now 6 is the moment after this overflow of water. Is where you're going to put things into perspective. Just like when they go to a cave to meditate, to think about that, to ponder. It can be about like when we go for a walk, because you need some fresh air to put things into perspective before making a decision. That's now 6. Like when you are also in the top of a canyon, that you can see all the possibilities. So you start pondering, what's going to be the best place to reach the goal. And Junajpu is going to be talking about the battle that we need to face in order to achieve balance. Junajpu follows the metaphor of the seed that goes to the dark underground and needs to get all the nutrients fight to see the light of day until become a flower and start attracting. So it's going to be pondering the battle. The deer has that thing that can becomes afraid of something when it goes down the mountain in a way to find the valley to drink water. It's afraid. If it sees a predator, it's gonna froze, like it's gonna be completely frozen. So that's we're gonna be talking about the fear that needs to be pondering in this Trecena, because it's the heart of the Trecena. Could be the dramas that you can face in here, because sometimes we take so much preparation, but in the time of the battle, it becomes easier for us to engage that. We become afraid of the battle, just like the deer that's gonna froze in front of the predator. So we are doing all this preparation, but we need to ponder very well how things are gonna go. Like if those battles are worth it, taking that, is that really where we want to go? Is that like the place where we need to go for the shine that we want to bring to our lives, to bring the beauty that that we want to put in our projects or everything else that we are doing. So it's gonna be this day to ponder this stuff, but also to ponder your own pride, because sometimes you can get too much convinced about the stuff that you're doing. Sometimes you become reluctant, like care could be pushing things into the reluctancy. So Hunahpu will not move, we don't know what to do. And sometimes you can do this for also a self-reflection, because sometimes you could be seeing like the image that you want to see from yourself, like you're ignoring the truth that maybe Tijax has shown you. So Hunahpu is the day for you to ponder this stuff, so you can walk in balance. And then we move to Ukub Imox, 7, water. 7 is the climax of the Trecena. We talk about the hot water. It's gonna be, can represent the geysers, can represent the lava. So it's gonna be the most intense part of the Trecena. Maybe you are going here in this Trecena. If this is the Trecena of accumulating strength, Imox is the now that injects your strength. It's gonna be the one that has the power to give life to something, to inject that force that later will come to life. But Imox is the now that you cannot trust. Imox is the now of the confusion, is the now of the imprecisions. If in this you are accumulating strength, like if you have a bucket of water, but it's so much water and you have only one hand to carry. So you're gonna be swinging as you walk, so water is gonna be coming out of the bucket. So you don't have much precision. Then you need to water everything you invest your life with that if the hand that you have less precision. You need to be extremely careful. So that's why for us to be able to control the flow, we need to be careful. We need to watch out for Imox, because Imox we may be doing things with the left hand, or maybe we got the idea wrong, and we started doing that without knowing that we are doing wrong, because we are confused. Maybe because we pick up all the ideas that wasn't ours at the beginning. Maybe someone spoke about that stay in your head, and then Imox makes a big mess of that. Imox is connected also with the collective consciousness, like this big consciousness where we all, feel connected with each other. Where sometimes we are watching something, and then you pick up some idea, and that just becomes bigger into you. Maybe it could be that dream world, like when you have like all your fantasies, like all the possibilities. But if you don't work to do that, like like if you don't use that in the right way, like it can end up in a completely mess. You're not gonna be um, materializing that. So it can be when you don't know what to do, so you try many different possibilities. So Imox can be a mess, like a tsunami. Like you're completely happy just building your sandcastle in the shore, in the beach, and then the wave comes and destroy everything. So that's the now Imox. But if we are following the flow, like if we are centering in our ideas and what we gotta do in our lives, Imox is the now that can inject force, that's gonna be give that essence that you need to build up strength. And that's the now the flow as well that they are talking here. That's why we need to be in extremely balance in this Trecena. And now that Trecena returns, we're gonna be moving to Washakib Yik, 8, wind. Now 8 is the now of the return, is the now that it's going to be talking about the rainy season that are going to be stronger. Is the second part of the Trecena. So everything that started with a vision in the first part in one ego, now we know where we need to go. We know like the flow that is going to be necessary to achieve by the end of the Trecena. So now is just to follow the pattern, just to keep pushing, following the pattern that you create in the first part of the Trecena. So you can keep moving forward. Maybe now you're going to be more enthusiastic about that. You're going to be more more brave to face the battles that you need to put you in balance in this Trecena. So Yik is going to be talking about this return of the push, return of the insufflation of life. So to start moving things forward, we need to keep the flow going. So energy comes from movement. So Yik's going to be that extra push that's going to keep things in movement and accumulating more strength. What you need to watch out, because Yik is a very explosive nawal. If we weren't able to keep our focus in the Trecena, and Imox made us going crazy with all of this stuff. So the cat maybe ended up not knowing what to do, maybe ended up not moving at all, not finding its balance. So you can be the one that explodes. It can be the one that can mess up as well things. We have very strong masculine nawals in this Trecena. And then we move to Belaer Aq'ab'al, 9 clarity. 9 is the now of a gestation, something that is cold but is hidden from sight, just like the underground rivers, the rivers inside of a cave. So there is something that's running backstage, maybe something that you are gestating. And Aq'ab'al is the now of finding clarity, the now of going to the light, going to the darkness with the light, or to find a light, so you can make things clearer for you. If in the beginning of the Trecena we had the calculation of the mistakes that we've done in the past Trecena into complementarity, we are talking about calculating the complementary actions to find this balance in this Trecena. Aq'ab'al is going to be the one that is gestating over there. Maybe you need to find more information that is still in the dark for you, and maybe you don't know where to go. So Aq'ab'al is the day where I can go really deep in the dark to clarify everything. As the Trecena already provide you opening the path, to planification, this overflow of insights. Now you have like a huge light where you can light up everything. You can go there and gestate. It doesn't mean that things are going to be ready. Sometimes you still need to hold those things in the dark. As Aq'ab'al talks about the power achieved by hiding information. Sometimes it's good for you to not share everything that you are building, keep for yourself, keep gestating over there first to see if they work, to see if you are walking the right path, to see if you are not getting confused about things. It's a day where you can go deeper to expand them, just like doing a research to expand your knowledge in there. And then we move to one thing that we need to be careful with 9 Aq'ab'al, 9 clarity, because Aq'ab'al tends to be extremely perfectionist. Wants things beyond perfection. So that could be the case where you can become stagnant because you're not moving, trying to perfect some stuff that is not really necessary. So that's one thing that we need to be alert with Aq'ab'al. Could be a good day also to put order inside ourselves. If there is something that you need to do, or you feel like that is not in the right place in there, maybe Aq'ab'al is the day that you can find a light of what to do, what decisions to make in order to feel better, to put your personal life in order as well. Everything towards the balance. Remember, the balance is the key of this Trecena. And then we're going to move to Lau Kat, 10 burning into ashes. 10 is the now of the convergence where everything is going to meet in one single place. If in the now 3 of the past Trecena we diverge the ideas, now in the now 10 cat, we're going to converge all of those. So it can be a good day where you can use the help of the others. We can talk about teamwork. And now cat is going to be talking about the tasks. It's going to be talking about the descending fire, the energy that you use to keep things in the proper heat, the things that like you take from your energy to maybe to help the others, or maybe to help to keep a project alive, or just sustain that. So 10 cat is going to be the now that's going to be talking about the convergence of the task, the convergence of the debits that you have, or the sacrifice you do to favor the others. It can be an amazing day to collaborate with others, for you to do not spend all your energies trying to figure out everything on your own. So because you need to avoid becoming burned out in our cat. extenuating our energy to applying the stuff that is really necessary. So we're going to be using 10 cat to resolve these debits, maybe collectively, maybe to put things, to work in there, to serve them. And then we're going to move to Hula Khan 11 Stellar Serpent. 11 Stellar Serpent is going to be talking about expanding the intervention, or is finding the right path to intervene in that, the multiple paths that we can intervene. If things are not moving, the Trecena 11 Stellar Serpent is the best day for you to do a harsh intervention. It's an extremely powerful nawal that is going to be talking about when you need to move. So you need to take action in this right moment. Otherwise, things will go sideways. So it's going to be the right moments of intervention. So like now can we represent when the earth has an announcement, like is it announcing that the weather is changing, things are changing in there. So it's gonna be changing something. So that's the time for using the now can. And now 11 will present you multiple possibilities. So what you can intervene. But the tricky thing here, because it can go everywhere, just like now 11 doesn't have a single direction to go. So it can be a way to talking about expanding like your wisdom to know what to do in the right time, to know which direction you should follow in there, especially if you already built a plan in Trecena to walk in more balance. So, on the other hand, what we can talk about, Kant can talk about the enemy, being the enemy as something that can go in a way that is stopping you from moving. Sometimes you are just spending too much energy. You're not just taking care of your spiritual balance, your spiritual well-being, or your physical well-being as well. So Kant can indicate the poison. So something that is not wrong with you that you need to put in balance. It's okay for us to make any kind of choices that we want in here, but we need to be careful. We need to know how to intervene as well to avoid future complications. And then we're going to move to Aq'ab'al Kame, 12 ancestors. 12 ancestors is the now of the extra. It's going to be the hidden balance of the Trecena. And Kame is the now of the death of the ancestors, of the support of them. Just like when you have someone wishing well, like you have, like that something is there, pushing you softly forward, like you don't feel like you're alone. So that's the feeling of Kame. But also it's something very fragile, like that can put you, like that can leave you heavy-hearted, like with the pressure in the heart. So it's a now that you need to be able to handle this situation. But as we're talking about balance, that's a very deep thing talking about the spiritual thing. Because sometimes to reach the ultimate balance that we need in life, we need to fall. Sometimes we learn only when we receive all these slaps of life, that we feel like we reached the rock bottom. We feel like we're just facing a suffering we never could imagine. That's sometimes when we find out that we are really strong, that we really can move forward. So 11, 12 ancestors are going to be talking about that, like this extra strength that the ancestors can bring, this extra push forward that will keep you to continue on, so you can achieve the balance again, so you can rise up strong, you can stand up tall. So it's like this big deer that you're going to be moving. So Kame explains this fragile aspects of life that are really necessary for our spiritual evolution, for us to evolve in here in life as well, to mature. And then we come to the final day in the Trecena, Oshilahukeh, 13th year. And this is going to be the big strength, the accumulation of strength, the accumulation of everything we build up for this Trecena. When we start the focus, when we track to let things go, to open the path for the ideas, to stop, to filter stuff, or to find the healing, to confront ourselves in the mirror, to overflow with deep intuition, and then to ponder the battles, to ponder our self-pride as well, so we can achieve, like that final flow of the Trecena, so we can return with the insufflation of life, keep following the pattern, so we can keep gestating, putting things into the clarity, into the light, so we can know how to manage the tasks that we gotta do. We know how to spread wisely the tasks. We know how to intervene when it's necessary. Then you get this extra strength of the altar, and now we have 13 care, the spirit of the altar. So it's a day where you can find this ultimate balance, just following the Trecena. It's gonna be the day where you can thank the ancestors, where you can do your ceremonies. Just like as I was explaining in the beginning of the life, in the altar we always offer fire and water, because it's the representation of the masculine and the feminine, sky and earth. So that's the balance that we need to achieve in the altar before we do the communications with the spirits. We can talk, we can do a negotiation, maybe a negotiation for our self-healing, to inject force in ourselves, to stand up strong, and find this balance. So if you're able to accumulate this balance, we know where we're going to be able to inject all this force we accumulated. So we find the flow. But otherwise, 13 cat can be something that cannot move, like this big reluctancy that's going to tell you why things are not moving to your life. If you just feel reluctant to try new things or to at least move, keep that, just like I said, energy comes from moving. So Cat is going to be talking about this very beautiful thing that's about us taking care of ourselves, taking care about the environment, to keep the life, going on, to keep things in balance, following the flow of nature. And that's the Trecena of care, the Trecena that talks about this beautiful thing that is balanced in nature. And next Trecena, we're going to be talking about the Oshlahu Junajpu. It's going to be the big battle. So now they accumulate strength, so we are going to be able to use for the next Trecena. And that's how we close the analysis of Oshlahu Care. And if you have any questions in there, like, I'm open here to listen to your questions. That's a beautiful Trecena, but sometimes we need to keep pushing things forward to keep on the focus. Maybe someone is now care from using here, maybe know what I'm talking about. The strength, but sometimes it's reluctant to move on. So if you have any questions, I'm open here. It can be personal questions as well. Like if you want to ask something personal about something that you can do in the Trecena, or something not related to the Trecena, let's stay here a few more minutes to. And I hope you all are excited for this one, especially because now that we just returned with a new mom, so we're gonna be starting this new mom 11 Pathfinder, the multiplication of the path, expanding the path by accumulating strength, so we can handle all these possibilities. So it's gonna be an interesting one. By the way, guys, if you want to follow my website is live. I'm just gonna put here in the in the link here. I didn't see the new messages coming. I'm still learning how to use the YouTube. Just now that I felt like the message were stuck, but now I can see all of them. So the best day for 1 second. Let me just respond from top to bottom. Daniele, what is the best day for a healing session in this Trecena? Well, doesn't have actually the best. And you can use Tijax for cut, for doing this healing, like this permanent healing. But the entire Trecena, we're going to be talking about building this spiritual strength. So any day that you can use in this Trecena is going to be adding to this build up that Oshila Huker, the 13 years, is going to be pushing forward. But if you want like a very auspicious day for that, I would say Kahib Tihash. But it's not something that I can I would like you to just wait for that. If you feel like that it's a right moment for you, that's the best day to do it. So, and you can use this Trecena to know the things that you can do. So Gloria, what the Trecena talks about a person. The Trecena explain how a system of a person work. We have like the nawal of birth that we call the Kamal be nawal. There's going to be the guide nawal. This is the nawal that's going to be talking about like the conditions of the pregnancy, things that we went through. But no nawals make sense by themselves. For example, now that is already Huntikin, one ego in here, one ego doesn't mean anything on its own. It makes sense in a system. So there are many systems in the Maya calendar. So 13 days, 20 days, 28, and the list goes on. So every single cycle, you can see them as a bigger entity. So this Trecena is going to be this bigger entity that you respond to. So you now can be responding to a bigger element in the Trecena. So they're going to explain also like how you think, how you process, how you like to initiate things. Sometimes on things that comes in a flash, like 1 second, like that type of thought that you usually have that makes you start something. So then the other elements of the Trecena is going to speak whenever you need to do something else, or what's you're gonna show for everyone, publicly, what you're gonna be hiding, for everyone else. So they're gonna explain like sometimes how our system enters in contradiction when we listen to all of these voices. Sometimes we say we want something, but we are responding to a certain now in there. But sometimes we make other type of choices. So the Trecena helps to explain how the system works, how are they working, so you can understand like how you function actually. Um, oh, thank you, Daniele. I'm glad you are enjoying the videos. It's a fun ride following the calendar. As I said, that you don't need to hurry to know all the cycles. The only thing that you need to do is just to be patient, and follow the day by day. It's just like when you start getting to know someone else, like you have a new boss in there. So you start, getting to know little by little, how it behaves, how, you need to treat, to follow the flow, for things to go in balance with you. So following the calendar, it's just like you every day you have a meeting with two bosses, like a number now and then a nominal now. And you don't have to go crazy in learning everything. Just keep simple, because then the calendar is going to be open up for yourself. Or the more you keep following, the more cycles you follow. And least of all, as I said, you can build up ethical values, because sometimes you go into a situation that usually you maybe you stay stuck for a long time, but following the rhythm of the calendar, of going back and forth, seeing like how things interconnect with each other, you are able to find solutions quicker, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, has these beautiful messages as well that we can see as this way that can inspire us in what to do. So it's gonna be really nice. Um, yes, if I do a reading, Rodrigo, yes, I do. Uh, that is in my website. My website's live. I'm gonna be typing in here, mayadaykeeper.me. So in there, you you have a calculator where you can find everything, and also have the personal sessions. In my personal sessions, you have like this different type of sessions. If you like reading of the path, so to know about this gestation, so you can enter also if you want to know about the system of the Trecenas. If you're looking for understanding the family or the partner, you want to see complementarities. The one we can treat that. And that is all in my website, so you can check that out. Guilherme, can you talk about the now of the pregnancy? I find it fascinating when I watched the other video. Yes, the pregnancy is related to our Aq'ab'al, the nawal, like the nawal guy, the day in which we are born. But when we talk about the pregnancy, everything starts before that. The nawals are something that enters in our first breath. It's an external entity that's going to give us, this mood. We're going to carry the mood of the planet. And then the pregnancy is going to be talking about like the experience your mother had like after a successful conception. The baby gestating in the mother is alive and conscious, so it's going to be learning the world from the experience of the mother. So everything that the mother goes through, like if there is a problem at home, she's going to be observing that. The baby is going to be getting that communication. The baby is going to be understanding what's going on. If the mother feels rejected by the partner, for example, the baby is going to feel like that, because the only clear voice that the baby can understand is the mother's. So the baby experiences the world through the mother's experience, and that's going to be forming what we call when you analyze the nows is the ushlab. Is the inner spirit that is created by the mother. That later is going to be reflecting on how we're going to be choosing stuff with the nows. So that's the most important thing when we talk about understanding a person. We need to know what happened during pregnancy to know why you keep coming back to the same choices. Why sometimes you feel like you're stuck in a situation. Because sometimes you're frightened. Sometimes there's always things that trigger that thing in our ushlab or inner spirit that comes from pregnancy. And that's going to dictate on how everything is going to work later. So when you analyze the calendar, even if you have someone that is born, in the same day, in the same place as you, maybe just like a few meters away from you, like you can be completely different, because the Wush Lab is gonna give the key of everything for us to understand a person. So entering to this realm of self-understanding through the Maya calendar is to understand ourselves since this conception moment, to understand how the now is going to act, how they are going to influentiate in our choices, and why we're going to be doing certain type of things, to preserve ourselves this way. So so when we talk about the nawal, the day in which we are born is like when the fruit's ready. Like the now is the fruit of the day. So when the baby is ready, it's ready to premiere in the world. Like you are a repercussion of everything your mother went through. Like you are mature to go to the world. Like you're receiving this type of consciousness. And the baby, and by the way, the baby is the one that chooses the now, because the baby is in connection with the now during when he's gestating in the womb, because the nous is the one that talks to us through our dreams. It's the time when our conscious, is not awakened and we cannot control everything. So they use the dream communication to express them. So they're gonna be talking about the repercussion of the pregnancy, why you were born in that day. That could indicate, like when the fruit's ready for you to pick up from the tree. Yeah, it's fascinating, and it's fascinating. And if any one of you would like to join, uh, a quick tip: if you sign up to the newsletter until the end of this Trecena, I'm giving you all 20% off in the first consultation of in my website. There is a code that you can grab in there and you can use when you are finishing your bookings in my website. And entering into this realm of the calendar is beautiful. It's a beautiful way to self-discover, for you to understand like actually very specific things of your behavior. So guys, 1 hour of live. I think you all must be tired of listening to me talking about that. I hope you have enjoyed. I'm gonna leave the live saved here so you can all watch later. You can keep coming back, to see the days of the Trecena. And it was fun here talking to you. Hope you all have enjoyed. So, and see you all in our next transmission, maybe another live in 13 days. So, everyone, Kamo, Nimalar, Kinkamawa, thank you so much. Good night, everyone.